Okay, 2.2 standard form of a quadratic function. So we're going to write and graph quadratic equations in standard form. Not always, they won't always be in vertex form. So standard form is, this C should be here. Standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. A, b, and c are real numbers, and a cannot be 0. If a is 0, it is linear, not quadratic. So
it's just C, not CX.
oh, it's c. Because the exponents are 2, 1, and then 0. That arrow's over there, and so every time it hits it, it jumps.
So we're still using the y equals a parentheses x minus h parentheses.
Well, that's vertex form. That's vertex form, but you need to know what standard form is also.
Okay.
Today we're going to be using standard form, well, for the next couple of days. And then next week we'll actually write things in from standard form into vertex form. But we're going to work on doing from vertex form to standard form first. Okay, so what we have had is the vertex form. Y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. That's what we've had. This is vertex form. Now we want it in standard form. So I need to expand this. So what math do I have to do first? Because you had like 2 problems last week like this. It asked you to write it. It didn't call it standard form, but it asked you to write it in this form. So what did you have to do first?
Find X and Y.
Well, we're not going to find x and y. We're going to have them in there when we're done. So if I gave you this right here, and I said write it like this, what do I have to do? There's addition, multiplication, and exponents. What do you have to do first? Exponents. So when it says the quantity squared, that's what this says right here, isn't it? Isn't that what tells you? So that means I have a times x minus h times x minus h plus k, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what do I have to do with these 2 things? I have to multiply them out. I have to FOIL them out, right? So do that. And don't forget there's an A out in front of it all, so put it in parentheses. So, Austin, when you FOILed that out, when you distributed it out, what did you get?
I don't know.
Just tell me what you got.
I haven't got anything yet.
You got nothing? What's the first thing you got? What's x times x?
X squared.
X squared. Alex, what's next?
H squared.
Probably should be minus 2xh. Because this would be xh, yes? And this would be what? xh. So how many xh's would I have? 2. And then plus h squared?
Yeah.
Yes. Now what?
Times A by
Like distribute it through, right? So I'd have ax squared minus 2axh plus ah squared plus k. Yes? Okay. Now, I'm putting that in front of you because it doesn't matter how weird it looks. That is the process you have to do. Now, are you going to have numbers where h and k are? Like, you're going to have values for h and k, aren't you? Yes. So it's not going to look like that because if you have an h, a k, and an a, things are going to collapse, aren't they? Because this right here, there's no x or y in there, is there? No. So when we have numbers, am I going to be able to combine all that together? Yes. But that's what we have to do. We have to FOIL it out because of the squared, distribute the a, and then combine like terms. Doesn't change just because the numbers are different. So, the x value of the vertex. So remember the vertex on a parabola because that's the shape quadratics are, right? So the vertex is either a minimum or a what? Maximum. So the x value of the vertex of a parabola, don't know why that's writing down here, is the h, which is negative b over 2a. That is the x value. The y value of the vertex, or the k, is found by substituting the h into the original equation. So once I find an x, can I plug it into any equation and find a y? So most of your equations will be f of x, g of x, h of x. They will be named something like that. So your vertex in standard form is going to be negative b over 2a for your x. And you're going to have f of negative b over 2a. So what that means is you're going to find negative b over 2a and find your x. And substitute your x into the equation and find your what? Y. Or your h and your h and your k. So we have two examples. The first one says, what is the vertex? And it is in standard form. It is not in vertex form, so you can't just look at it. You have to use what I just gave you. So f of x equals x squared minus 6x plus 10. What is a?
1.
1. What is b?
10. Negative 6.
Ax squared plus bx plus c. What is b?
Negative 6.
Negative 6. What is c?
10.
10. Okay, so I want the vertex. So my h of my vertex equals negative b over 2a. So that means change the sign of the b and put it over 2 times a. So b is negative 6, so I'm going to write what? Positive 6 over 2 times 1. So the h is what?
2. Never mind, I'm thinking in my head. Don't.
Okay. So I have 6 divided by 2 times 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, so now that I found my h, I have to find my what? K. How do I find my K? What's it say?
Distribute it to the original problem.
Substitute it into the original problem.
That's what I said.
So K equals x squared. Well, what's my x?
Oh, no.
3.
3. So 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 10. So 9 plus 10 is 19, right? Minus 18, if I'm doing my math right, is what? 1. So the vertex is 3, comma 1. That's it. So you try the next one on your own. Not that hard. If you want to write what A, B, C is, it might be helpful. What's A? What's A? 1. What's B? And what's C? Alex, find your H. So you're using your negative B over 2A to find your H. Try it, Cooper.
How'd you get 210?
Hmm?
Never mind.
That's 2 times 1. Are you talking about over here?
Yeah.
That's 2 times 1.
That's what I thought.
Did you get 4, negative 11?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What, Gracie?
Nothing.
Did you get 4, negative 11?
Yeah.
Cole, what'd you get?
I didn't get that.
Snake.
Yes.
So on the H, should that be a negative A?
No, it's negative, so it's the opposite sign.
So why is the first one on A? Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah. This negative is always going to mean that's the opposite sign. So it's technically negative, negative 8.
It just threw me off. I see the negative on the other one, then I see a negative 2A.
Okay. Because it was also negative.
Um,
Austin, what'd you get? Did you get it?
I did not get that, but I can see how you got that.
What did you do differently?
I forgot to divide 8 in 2,
Okay.
and I got 6. I subtracted.
You subtracted. Okay.
How'd you get 16? Is my question.
Because 4 squared. You put it back in the original problem.
But that's an X.
Yes. Isn't X the same as H?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if B is ever a odd number?
Doesn't matter. So you have a fraction. You just have to deal with it. Doesn't change the math. You just have to deal with it. Okay. Find the vertex, axis of symmetry, y-intercept, min and max, and graph the quadratic function in standard form. This is what you need to do on, listen to me. Everyone listen to me. Look at me. Every single problem, no matter the directions, this is what you are doing. Understood? You are doing all of this. Have we done all this before?
Yeah.
Yes. Because once you have the vertex, you have the axis of symmetry. Yes? Because that's the H. And then you can find the y-intercept. We'll talk about that. We decide if it's a min or a max based on if it opens up or down. And then we can graph the function. Because we'll have some points, won't we? Okay. So, is this opening up or down? Let's decide that now. Up. How do we know it's opening up?
Because A is positive.
Because A is positive. So it's going to be up, up. So are we going to have a min or a max? We're going to have a min. So when we find it, it's going to be a min, and it's going to be just our vertex, isn't it? Yep. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is find the what?
The vertex.
The vertex. How are we going to find the vertex? Because it's not in vertex form. By doing what we just did, right? Because the vertex is H comma K, and H is negative B over 2A. You need to write that every time you use it because it is not going to be given to you on a test, and I'm going to ask you to do this. So do we need to write out A, B, and C?
No.
Okay. So Cooper, what's negative B going to be?
+4,
Okay. And what's A?
2.
Well, A is 1, so 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, A is what's right in front of here. So the H is what?
2.
2. So how do I find the K?
You plug everything back in.
Plug everything back in. So 2 squared is 4 minus
8 plus
8 plus 8, which is
4.
4. So the vertex
4.
is
2, 4.
2, 4. The axis of symmetry,
Is x equals 2.
x equals 2. The y-intercept, how do I find any y-intercept no matter what kind of equation I throw it at you?
By plugging in 0.
By plugging zeros in for x. So just plug them in. So that'd be 0 minus 0 plus 8. So the y-intercept would be what?
8.
8. So it would be 0, 8.
What did you just do?
I plug 0. Anytime you want a y-intercept, you plug 0 in for all the x's.
Okay.
What else does it say? Min or max? So is it going to be your min or max? Min at where?
X equals 2.
At x equals 2. And that came from your vertex also. Both of these things came from your vertex. Correct? Let's do range. See if we remember. Oh, domain. What's the domain on all?
Negative infinity, comma, and positive infinity.
Okay, so all real numbers.
Yes.
And what is the range then? Do we need to graph it first?
It would be positive infinity, and then it would be 4.
You always do the smallest thing first. It goes up. So the smallest thing is going to be 4.
4, and then negative, and positive infinity.
So y is greater than equal to 4. Okay. So now it says to graph. So do I have plenty of stuff to graph?
Yes.
Yeah. So my vertex. Ooh, that line isn't straight. My vertex is at 2, 4. My y-intercept is at 0, 8. Well, 0 is... Zero is 2 to the left of 2, correct? And it's 8. So 2 to the right of 2 would be 4, and it is also going to be what? 8? How do I know it's going to be 8? How do I know that it's going to be, if it's 2 to the left is 8, how do I know 2 to the right is going to be 8? Because these are what? What are parabolas? Aren't they symmetrical?
Yes.
That line is not straight, but you get the point. So every problem today, I want you to do all those steps. The reason why I want you to do all those steps is we don't forget how to do them. Did they take any more work? Not really.
Yes.
Because once we had the vertex, did all the rest of it come in? Okay. Where did the 4 come from?
That, line in the middle for.
That's the axis of symmetry.
Oh.
Where did this 4 come from in the range?
From the Y.
From the y and the vertex, right? Okay. You want to try this one on your own? Or is that the same one?
The same.
That's the same one. Here. None of these have an A? Oh. Evidently not. Okay, try this one on your own. I would like you guys to add domain and range to what you need to do. And the reason for that is because range we know is going to be always all reals unless we're in an application problem with the quadratic, and we need to practice our ranges, don't we?